right. Well, I know you've talked about you need to put yourself in this position a couple times before a team can learn how to win. Do you walk away feeling like that, or do you point to the scoreless drought
Yeah.
you had? What? How do you walk away from
Well, I mean, I thought in the second half we did everything you have to do to win a game. The second half, the second 20 minutes. We executed. We made our foul shots. We played good defense. We did a really good job on number 10. To what you just said, I mean, you have to look back to that, whatever that time frame was, from the 10-minute mark to the 2-minute mark in the first half, whatever that exactly was. You can have a stretch like that, but it can't be 8 minutes. It had to be shorter than that. So obviously we made some adjustments at halftime that helped. Should have made those adjustments earlier during that time frame. That's on me in terms of not just going to that earlier, whatever that we did. But again, I thought our guys did a really good job of executing in the second half, put ourselves in position. Got a couple, open shots. That just didn't go in. AJ played unbelievable. To be out there for 40 minutes and handle that pressure the way he did and have to do it almost single-handedly. And then, still on the offensive end play the way that he did. And on the defensive end, he was terrific. I thought other guys stepped up in the second half to help him in that regard. And obviously that was a big help, but it was that 7-8 minute stretch that sort of, we can look back on now. But, I think what we have to do is look at how we executed in the second half and did the things we needed to do to win. And we just got to, do it again on whatever the day is, Saturday, and put ourselves in the same position again. And then within the context of the game, limit that downtime we have. Extend our good times. And that's something that's plagued us a little bit throughout this time frame is a little of that. Those runs, whatever they are, they're just too much. We got to learn how to cut that down. They have their good time, but it's not as much. And that definitely was the case with that one in the first half.
do the rebound totals bother you, or do you just kind of, with their size, do you sort of have to accept that and know that you're still within a point?
Yeah, what I usually do, Brent, is I look at their offensive rebounds. You know what I mean? And if we're keeping them to 7, that's pretty good. That's good. I think that's the second best offensive rebounding team in our league. Now, obviously, again, we did everything needed to win the game. We forced 20 turnovers. So it says something about how we played defense. But I'm going to start to figure out how here, as we keep going forward, playing-wise, who can sniff out an extra 1 or 2 offensive rebounds for us. That's just as we work to limit their offensive rebounds. How can we sneak, two extra ones for us a game? Who has that sort of energy level? Who can go in there and tip a ball out for us? Because that they would be really valuable possessions. So, but I thought we did an unbelievable job on number 10. A really good job on 10. And we did a really good job on 13. They're their 2 leading scorers, and we did a really good job. And, we just have to continue. Number 4. And, number 4. Number 4 and 25 were their 3-point shooters. So, we got to keep working on making sure their 3-point shooters don't get them. But, rebounding is always going to be a challenge for us, and that's sort of the way I look at it.
Are there any cons to having a guy like AJ who's becoming, a bona fide scoring star? Or during those lulls, do guys kind of wait for him to do it, or?
Yeah. Well, I think what it was, his scoring in the second half really was coming off of us just moving the ball better, and then when we hit those drought times, whatever those times come, he seems, because he is a good player, he seems to be, as we're not maybe collectively playing as well at that juncture, he's the one who can maybe go do something, and I think that does occur. So, there's an individual component to it, but I know he's much better off when everybody's executing better, because it just lightens the load on him. And when those times come, we'll learn from this game that when those times come, I think we found something tonight where, okay, we're going to that, and it sort of helps AJ so that he doesn't have to do all those things. It makes us play much better, and so there is a little bit of that, I think, Brent, but I think it's a little bit of the learning curve when you look at, McClintock and Carter Murphy getting in there and Cam Vanderswag and, putting those pieces in there. Abe Kinraid was better tonight. I mean, there's no doubt that it's better. I think we got to get a little time of having some of that stuff gel together and that those guys gel. So we'll see as we go forward how that plays out. But I thought, those guys were definitely contributed tonight.
Well, AJ, congratulations again on another one of these individual performances. How do you take these, individual nights within the context of the team, another loss?
I don't really take it too well since, like you said, we lost. So, that's my main goal, is just trying to help my team any way I can to get the win. So we just got to go back to the film, see what else I can do better.
And what do you think, what would you have changed about tonight? And what could you guys have done to get those extra couple points?
After the 10-minute mark, leading into the halftime, we didn't do too well. So I think if we take that out the game, we did really well the second half by execution and handling their pressure. So if we can transfer that from the start, I think we'll be good.
And the defensive effort you guys had, you had 5 steals. For all their rebounds, you guys still had 5 more shots than them. Can you guys look to that as kind of the example you need to set?
For sure. Yep. We just got to stay active on defense, kind of match their energy on defense, but even surpass it as well. So if we can do that, like I said, from the start and have it progress throughout the game, then it'll be beneficial to us.
And do you think this, the climb you guys have had and how you're inching closer and you're almost there, do you think once you do kind of get over that hump, is it going to help you to stay there, that you've known what it's taken to make this climb?
It's going to be a little bit better to learn from a win than a loss for sure. But, it's kind of can't really predict what's going to happen from game to game. We just got to continue to focus on ourselves, what we need to do, and then whatever the outcome is, we just got to be able to take that in.
Okay. And personally, what are you doing to improve your game the way you have? I've seen a lot of Air Force players kind of start to plateau late in the year because there's just so much exhaustion and everything you have to go through. What are you doing to be getting so much better?
Talking to my sister. She's always on my head because she's watching my game. She's critiquing every little thing. So back home, every time I get a phone call or text from her, she's always saying, "Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?" So that's my motivator right there.
Now, remind me, was she a player?
She plays volleyball. She's a freshman in high school right now. So, yes, sir. Oh yeah, she's always letting me know. So I love it.
That's awesome. Have you always been a big basketball fan?
Just a competitor. We're always competing. When I go back home, I'll go out play volleyball with her and the family, and we're always going at it. So it's all just competition within the family, trying to see who's working harder than the other person. So.